Do you often find yourself in this predicament? The harder you try to calm down, the more your anger intensifies, the more you long for sleep, the more you toss and turn in bed. The more you force yourself to focus, the more your thoughts become a tangle of confusion. We tend to attribute this loss of control to weak willpower. But the reality may be quite the opposite. It's this deliberate attempt at control that makes the situation even more problematic. Human behavior often lies not in our rational, surface consciousness, but deep within the subconscious workings. Just like you keep repeating to yourself, "Don't be nervous," but your palms keep sweating. You firmly vow to give up late-night snacks, but your late-night cravings only get stronger. This is because the subconscious follows the principle of least resistance, instinctively maintaining the status quo. When you try to force change with willpower, the subconscious rebounds like a compressed spring. This psychological mechanism explains why extreme dieting ultimately leads to overeating, and why long-term suppression of emotions leads to a breakdown. This isn't a failure of willpower, but rather the subconscious protecting you from the harm of excessive control. Control is like trying to hold on to quicksand. The harder you try, the faster it slips away. Those obsessed with control are often dominated by the fear of uncertainty. Some fill every moment with plans, fearing any unexpected event will disrupt their rhythm. Others monitor their partner's every move, attempting to maintain dominance in the relationship. These behaviors may appear to be self-discipline or caring, but in reality, they are using control to mask deep-seated anxiety and insecurity. For example, a mother reading her child's private diary may appear to be protective, but in reality, she is shifting her career frustrations onto the child. A partner's demand for immediate responses to messages hides a fear of abandonment. The stronger the desire for control, the more vulnerable one's inner feelings are revealed. Because true security never relies on controlling the outside world. Even more alarmingly, the desire for control can gradually erode the vitality of life. It can trap you in anxiety about the future and make you miss out on the beauty of the present. It can twist love into a power struggle, making the relationship suffocating. It can drive you to constantly pursue higher and higher standard, but never find satisfaction. Since control often backfires, how should we respond? The key is to replace resistance with acceptance and guidance. When emotions arise, don't rush to deny them. Try to observe them with an observer's perspective. I'm feeling anxious right now. I'm craving something. Acknowledge the existence of emotions, but don't let them dominate them. Just as the sky changes from cloudy to sunny, emotions themselves aren't the problem. The problem lies in our resistance to them. Practical action is more effective than mental cues. Telling yourself, "Don't be nervous," is often futile. But taking 10 deep breaths can bring calm. Forced focus is often ineffective, while tidying up your environment or listening to white noise can naturally improve your focus. Let your body lead, and your mind will follow. Changing habits requires gradual progress, just as transplanting a tree requires patience and waiting for new roots to grow. Breaking old habits also requires an adjustment period. Want to go to bed earlier? Start by going to bed 10 minutes earlier than the night before. Want to reduce your phone use? Start by setting aside 30 minutes of offline time each day. Small, consistent changes are more effective than perfect plans. When you let go of your obsession with control, embrace vulnerability, tolerate imperfections, and allow gaps in relationship, true freedom will arrive. Just as a tree doesn't need to control the wind's direction, it simply needs to plant its roots deeply and dance with it. Rather than being life's dictator, it's better to be its witness and experiencer. After all, true control begins with the courage to let go of control. A universal desire for control lurks within us, stemming from our instinctive pursuit of certainty. By exerting influence on the outside world, we seek a false sense of security, while reasonable control can help us plan our lives effectively. When this desire becomes excessive, it can become a mental shackle, damaging not only our health but also precious emotional bond. Imagine this scenario. You're talking to a friend, and they consistently dominate the conversation, limiting it to work-related topic. How does this one-way communication feel? It's likely to suffocate you, and even lead to withdrawal. This is the negative side of excessive control. It acts like an invisible cage, making the other person yearn for freedom. And ultimately leading to distance in the relationship. In love, An uncontrolled desire for control often leads to tragedy. Constantly tracking a partner's whereabouts, frequently checking their phone record, and restricting their normal social activities convey not affection but a suffocating possessiveness. The controlled partner gradually builds up a wall, and a once intense relationship ultimately becomes a formality. Trust is like fine porcelain. Once cracked, it's difficult to restore. Parent-child relationships are equally vulnerable. Many parents, in the name of love, plan every step of their children's lives. This all-encompassing care actually deprives children of the space for independent thought, ultimately either nurturing a dependent, lacking in independent thinking, or fostering a rebellious spirit. True education should be like a gardener nurturing a seedling, providing appropriate guidance rather than rigid control.